Excited to be here to present today. I'm with TrueLook Construction Cameras. I oversee our enterprise sales as well as our strategic partnerships here. Obviously love construction tech, excited to talk to everyone today. When I'm not at work, I'm usually with my three little ones, watching them play sports, mostly in an effort to wear them out for bedtime. And then also kind of a self-proclaimed dive bar connoisseur. So if you ever find me in your city and need to show me a great place, the louder the music, stickier the floor, the more I like it. So thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Sean, for setting this up. Really excited to be here and chatting with this group. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm Roger Yarrow, COO and co-founder of TrueLook. We started in 2005, so we've been doing this a long time, and we've seen awesome progress in technology, especially as it pertains to reality capture. So just loving the visual aspect of construction and looking forward to discovering more about that with you today. I like beer, so if Joe finds a good dive bar, I'm right there next to him. And I'm also a wannabe amateur subpar mountain biker. So, you know, beer is good for easing those aches and pains one picks up in those journeys. So again, thanks for having me here. Looking forward to chatting soon.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Roger. I'm Matt Gendron with Propeller. I'm the territory manager for the Southeast. I've been in software for about 8 years now and Propeller for the last 5. What I help do is help construction companies build drone programs, which I'll jump into a little bit more later. But outside of work, I actually am based out of Nova Scotia, Canada. Pretty typical Canadian, love hockey, you know, cold weather, everything like that. Roger, actually, I'm a big mountain biker as well, so might have to hit that up at some point, but really excited to be here. And yeah, thanks to Builtworlds for putting this on as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And Joe, I think I can hand it over to you now for an overview of TrueLook.
Excellent. Let me know. Is everything showing up?
Perfect.
Yep, we're all good. Great. So today we're obviously going to talk about smart job sites. I think really when you think about a smart job site, you think about a lot of things. You think about sensors, you think about connected data, you think about photography. That there's so much out there, and I always think to kind of think about where the future of a smart job site is going, you have to think about the past. A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to an industry podcast, and someone said 10 years ago there was too little construction tech, and these days there's almost arguably too much construction tech. It's hard to pick out what the right thing is for the right job site. What I find is, as I'm talking to folks in the industry, folks are really looking for a Swiss Army knife for what solves the most problems on their job site. And that's going to be different for everybody in the space, from owners, developers to general contractors. I think everybody is looking for something different. So I always think, you know, if you're renting out yellow iron, you probably care a lot about an IoT sensor that tracks usable hours and other key metrics from that equipment. If you're moving a lot of dirt or doing earthwork, you probably care a lot about a solution that tracks the cubic yards of dirt moved and gives you great analytics around that. I think Matt will be talking about some of that later. If you have a site that gets broken into a lot, you probably care a lot about security and protecting not only the items on that site, but the timelines for the projects you're trying to complete. I think all of that comes into play when we look at what a smart job site is. I think clients are really looking for something that solves a lot of those problems all at one time. And as we look at that, I think folks see things, for example, like IoT and cloud data and cameras, and it's more about finding exactly what protects the life cycle of the project, helps you get that data, helps get better, and really turns things like AI and cloud stuff into usable business analytics to help a job site get smarter. So today we'll talk a little bit from the frame of reference of a construction camera. Obviously, that's where I've got the most experience, but we'll talk about the industry as a whole as well. So one thing TrueLook really tries to do is engage in visibility and stakeholder engagement. And those are big words that can mean a lot of different things. I think it doesn't just mean live viewing on a job site or being able to see a camera. And we really focus on being able to see a dashboard of cameras. So if you are a general contractor and you're building 20 sites in 20 different places. You need to be able to see all of those sites. You need to be able to see them at a glance. You need to be able to share the right level of access with the right type of user, the right people in your sphere, so that they can have access to that job site as well. So we believe that providing folks the access to that obviously drives that visibility and stakeholder engagement, keeps people engaged, helps them understand. But also there's a lot of ROIs that come into play when you think about being able to see a job site. Do you catch mistakes before they happen? Hopefully you do. Do you increase collaboration between different teams and subcontractors and folks that are on that site that need visibility into exactly what's happening? I think the broader business challenge is that you can't be everywhere at once, and that's certainly true. But with good technology, you can certainly dive in to being more places at once. And obviously, I'm looking at that from the standpoint of construction cameras. But there's other great tech that we see in the space as some of us, Matt and Sean, Roger and I were talking about conferences and things we go to before this call kicked off. And I see great tech at all of these places that do these things. So some I think about from last year. I saw somebody that had a tracker that goes in a concrete pour. Not traditional photo visibility or live video visibility, but instead visibility into what that concrete looks like after it's poured. How did it cure? Did the strength set up the way that you wanted it to set up? So there's just all kinds of tools out there to give people visibility and key stakeholder engagement. And we think that data works best when it's in a dashboard where everybody can view it the right way. So I'll jump into our next challenge, which is documentation and sharing progress. So, obviously being a camera company, we're taking a lot of pictures of a lot of job sites. As often as once a minute, those photos get taken, they're stored. We're using them to create time lapses and great marketing materials. But I think there's more there than that. There's a lot of folks that pull up those photos and maybe they want to share a photo instantly. Maybe they want to send it to their project management software like a Procore and Autodesk or other platforms like that. Maybe there's some value in sharing it on social media or giving access to folks that have a key interest in a local project, if it's a big park or something that's happening in a city. There's a lot of reasons to share documentation that are fun and get it out there. But then there's also, maybe we need to look back and know what happened on a job site at 8:15 a.m. 2 years ago for the sake of holding folks accountable or for the sake of understanding if a mistake was made. All of these things that good documentation can give you to reduce liability, but also give you all the fun things about sharing the photos out there, sharing the time lapses, creating those where they're an easy to use platform. We do a lot with that at TrueLook. We give you a way to create custom time lapses, take a photo as often as once a minute. They're stored forever, even long after your project's done. So that's something we focus on as a key tenet of a smart job site, is not only taking the data, but having it accessible forever. Because it's no good if you can't get to it, 10 years from now. That's maybe when it's even more impactful than in the moment. We'll jump to the next thing, which is providing peace of mind. So when we think about peace of mind, I think the first thing that comes to mind here is security. I think that's what a lot of folks are thinking about. They're thinking about job deterrent or theft deterrent on a job site. But we're also thinking about how we add peace of mind to various, tying it back to everything, stakeholders, to the folks who need to have access to this. The way TrueLook does this is TrueLook gives folks a platform that records video on a 30-day loop. They can look back at that, they can download it, they can fetch it, they can look at that, they can analyze that data to create a smarter job site. They can also use that data to really look at the life cycle of a project and understand, did we make mistakes somewhere? Did we understand what was happening? Did we use that data to get better day after day? And I think that plays into this. The big kind of elephant in the room with security, or that we're seeing in our space, is around builders' risk these days. We're really, insurance companies and other key contributors in the construction process are really driving the technology that's on a job site. And it's certainly not just from a camera perspective. Cameras are important. Cameras need to have lights and sirens and visual deterrents, and they need to be able to have software on the back end that dispatches police in these instances, which of course we're doing. But there's also other pieces to that that's not just around, camera tech. There's water intrusion, there's fire, there's lots of elements of builders risks that are being pulled in that I think is really driving the technology in the industry and giving people all the things they need for, to stay to stay ahead of it, provide peace of mind to their clients, and give everybody what they need. I'm going to jump in real quick. I think kind of to tie this all together is to look at everything that's in the space right now. Obviously, kind of a quick joke here. There's lots of ways to design and plan or do supply chain, but there's only one construction camera company that you could use. It's TrueLook. Just kidding. There's obviously lots out there that do a good job. But I think as you look at this slide, you see tons of tech in the industry that's tying a project together from pre-construction. We're going out, we're looking at a project, we're bidding it, we're maybe flying a drone mission to look at things, we're maybe doing soil samples, we're looking at if this site's suitable, and then we're planning it and we're getting money for it, and then we're procuring materials, and we're taking pictures of from the first cubic foot of dirt that gets moved until the last bush is planted, for the landscaping. And there's so many tools that tie that all together to make a great smart job site for the users out there that are in the space. And obviously TrueLook is super happy to be one of the players in that space that's helping create smart job sites for the industry. So thanks for having me. I will turn it over from here to Matt.